Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless. A sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory, yeah. Don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring, I just want a life that is worth every day exploring,
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Just off of I-80 in the cornfields of Iowa, the Iowa Speedway, Newton is the town. We are virtually here, ready to rock and roll. It's round number 8 of the Sim500 811.com Call Before You Dig Grand National Series. And what has been 7 fantastic rounds so far. We hit our 8th one tonight. And we are looking forward to seeing some great racing, 140 laps tonight. And the usual iRacing default weather, which is 79 degrees, 54% humidity, partly cloudy skies with 2-mile-an-hour winds. So we'll see that track temp climbing. As you see down there at the bottom, it is at 115 degrees right now. And will continue to go up at this just shy of 9/10 of a mile oval, which is still a short track, but ready to, I wish it would host a cup race, but that's just me. Race information tonight, as I mentioned, 140 laps, 3 sets of tires in the pits, 100% fuel. I think you could see some multiple strategies tonight. You could see a 2-stopper. You could see a 1-stopper if this race goes green. Depending on how much you want to burn up the tires, I think the 2-stopper might be the better way to go, but I could be wrong by that, and it would not be the first time I've been wrong. Previous winners as we go into qualifying. Daniel Falkingham won last season. Trey Eidson the season before. We're on a little streak right now. 2 straight races here at Iowa where the winner has started on the pole. So that might be something to watch out for as we go into qualifying right now for this race. Because the pole sitter, well, I know streaks are made to be broken, but there's got to be something to that, you would think, right? Yeah, cars are on track. And looks like the first one's going to cross the line, going to be Stefan Marinik. And of course, purple is good. That means you're on a pole lap. If you're not in purple, it means you're faster, but you might not be necessarily on a lap that is going to be pole worthy. As Doy Woods 24:14, that's your benchmark so far. As others cross the line, Marinik at 17, Campbell at 31, and the times start to come in. Mojica with a 16, Tyler Dalton is 16, Arnold is 16. Ron Holyfield in his own Haviland car now. What else we got out here? Justin Fuller going to try to qualify in his units, number 51. Fuller, a former winner here, as he goes P2, 24:15. Dalton with a 15, Mojica a 15. It's the fun part about this series. Time's on top of another here. Chad Coleman, he's completed his lap. He's 7th right now on the board. Let's go to Lewandowski here in the 20 car. Lewandowski only made a couple starts here so far, so not necessarily going for a championship here, but does want to get some wins as he's back in this series, and he is 20th, so struggling right now. down the back straightaway. Let's see if he runs that middle groove up. Puts it right down on the white line here, which at this track, I should share, multi-degrees of banking here. A progressive banking track. Let's see who else is out there on track right now. How about Joe Hudson? He's out there. As my camera swapped over to Scenic. As Joe Hudson out here in the 15 car right now. He is 24th right now in his lap, 24.83. Let's see if he can get that time to climb just a little bit. Josh Parker, that would actually shock me if he ran a qualifying lap. As Hudson pulls up to 10th. Here's Jimmy Coleman in the 84. And he goes third right now, 24.15. That's 4 of them lined up. So a lot of cars who have not run a lap yet. E.J. O'Rourke at personal comfort number 41. That Camaro, he's on track right now. Yeah, you might be hearing a little echo right now. I'm actually sound checking myself while I'm going here because I've been trying to fix some racing audio. EJ is 24th with a 24.35, but at the same time, he just scrubbed the wall there in turn 1. That might have hurt his second lap. We'll see. EJ goes up to 18th, 24.27. So look at them times on top of another here. That's pretty impressive stuff right there. So Doy Woods, who's been a little bit on a qualifying roll here, is going to pick up another 811 call before you dig pole award here. So let's grab the driver of this number 28. And let's have a quick word with him here as he goes on the pole here. As we'll let Joey do his conversation real quick here. Doy, I'll talk to you here in a second. I'm going to go ahead and mute him. Sorry, Joey. You've been cut off. All right, let's talk to Doy here for a second, man. Congratulations on the 811 Pole Award, Doy. I feel like you're just racking them up now on us.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it feels good to have some speed. And a lot of good guys around me, and I hope it was out in the race. And I hope we can get after it for a long run and win.
All right, Dory, well, we wish you the best of luck. Having a little bit of audio issue. I don't know if I could hear Joey and hear a lot of stuff in the background. Hopefully, you can get that fixed for the race. Just FYI, I figured I'd help you out there. But congratulations, man. Dory Woods in the 811 Pole Award. And he sounded very echoey there. Either that or it's me. One of the two. Get him down to his team name channel he hangs out in. As Dory going to be the pole sitter tonight. Again, thanks to 811 for not only sponsoring Josh Williams' Xfinity car this weekend, but also for being the sponsor of not only the Cup Series, but the Grand National Series here in Sim 500. Starting lineup will roll across the top of the screen as you see Doy Woods on the pole. As I mentioned, Tyler Dalton just getting edged out there a little bit. All the times right on top of another. Jimmy Coleman, Justin Fuller there, row number 2, row 3. Eric Arnold and Pedro Mojica as you see him racking up on pit road here. They'll get 2 laps of warming up here before they get the green flag. Points. Did not get a chance to show that off to you tonight. Here it is. After 7 races, Pedro Mojica leads Chad Coleman by 35. Bob Gillenwater, 49, back in 3rd. As you look down towards the 11th position, that is where now we have to the bubble. So we got 12 races after tonight before the playoffs. Doy Woods 42 up right now on Joey Jatina, all the way down to Kevin Stone, who's only 7 back of Joey. So a lot of things still to go. A lot of great action still to go. And a lot of things that can happen when it's all said and done. As Doy in that Winn-Dixie Ford Mustang. Nice packed crowd here at Iowa Speedway, Newton, Iowa. Virtually on iRacing if you're watching tonight. Iowa track built back in 2009. Rusty Wallace wanted to build a track after his favorite. And his favorite was one that was run earlier today on TV. Richmond. So he made a Richmond on steroids, if you will. This track, progressive banking. And the bottom's actually lower banked than the middle, which is lower banked than the top. So you're going to see these cars all over the place here this afternoon. As we'll race for 140 laps, as I mentioned, in race number 8 of the Sim500 811.org Grand National Series from the Iowa Speedway comes to the green flag right now as we're live on the Captain Esports Network. And of course, our cameras tonight presented by TrackCams22.com. You can check them out online. They're on Facebook, and they're in the iRacing forums at TrackCams22.com. As Dalton with a good start there on the outside lane. Justin Fuller climbs to the top there. Jimmy Coleman right there with him. And Doy Woods not a good start there as he falls back to 3rd as we complete lap 1. That's Mojica and Eric Arnold there side by side. Mojica going to take the spot away, the points leader there, 5th position. Got some 3 wide back here. That's Steve Ritter. Bob Gillenwater in the middle of this mess, the 20 of Lewandowski. There is a very serious bump in the middle of 1 and 2. If you've never raced at this track, it will upset your car, especially up in the top groove. That's almost like a spot you do not want to be on this track, is in that top side of 1 and 2. Now, 3 and 4, the top side's okay. Burns your tires off, but it's okay. Right there, the tunnel goes underneath the track. As looks like that might have been Casey Duncan. No, that's Duncan right there in the Surf Pro car. That Hunt Brothers car, I think that's Parker back there. Went up the track a little bit. One of the toughest parts about this track is the transition off the corners. Oh, around goes EJ O'Rourke. Bobby Wetzel involved. And the first caution comes out here in lap 4. I think Brian Wortman might have got a piece of that also. Just talking about the 3 wide going into the corner. So net code between Ritter and Wetzel takes out O'Rourke. And Parker goes sliding in there. Different look at this here. Jatina, nice job to avoid. Oh, Parker actually missed it. I thought he spun around. That's going to end up only being like 3 cars involved. So, well done by everybody to miss this wreck. First caution out. And I'm not sure you're going to see many heavily damaged cars here. Somebody just asked if we had stages in this race. All right, some cars coming down pit road. Livingston, Sigmund, Wortman, O'Rourke, Wetzel. Those guys going to get some damage fixed here. Appreciate it, viewers. Hello, Mr. Skinner. Yeah, I've noticed you like him very much. Justin Pennick. Hello, sir. To you. Yeah, we've had a good day of racing. Fantastic IndyCar race from what I've been told. Am I allowed to say that word? Cup race was pretty solid. And let's see if we can finish it out with a bang here tonight. This caution, a big break for me, actually, when it's all over with, because I was actually experimenting something on the timing and scoring, and nothing happened, which is okay to know. But you don't know that. And as I've learned in life, sometimes the less you know, the better you're off with. I think Tyler Dalton just called out he's going to take the top lane here. And he'll do that, so Fuller's going to move to the bottom here. Doy Woods, who did not get a good start. All right, so 34 cars started. Brian Wortman on pit road, probably topping her off here, getting ready for the restart. Again, this strategy in this race, it's very close on what you can do here. So I'm very intrigued to see what the others, or what a lot of people do in this race. So pace car pulls off. Dalton, the lead car there, top side as we go back racing here, lap number 9. Good start there on Fuller. Looks like Doy got a better start there in the 3rd position. Mojica climbing topside outside of Doy Woods. That's for 3rd. And it looks like this time it was Coleman who did not get the good restart. And he'll take that spot away. Stefan Marinik, Chad Coleman there. That's the battle for the 7th position. Corey Radford back there in the 9th position. Radford had a great qualifying run tonight. On board with Bob Gillenwater here, the 4 car. He's behind Van Schaik there in that fast lane number 23 as Charles looks inside of the Radford number 94. Up front, Mojica has moved up to the 2nd position. And once again, we get the Mojica-Dalton rivalry up here at the front. Back here, Eric Arnold under attack. There's Chad Coleman. Gonna slide her past the 31 and take the 7th position away. That 94 is struggling right now. Simley to his inside. Here comes the 84, the Talking Giants. Talking Gigantes, 84 car. Of course, as the tires wear out, you have to find your groove, find where you want to run. You can run up there where Tommy Ryan is. You can get down there where Calantoni is. I would say, though, that the farther up you go, the better off you're probably going to be with the car getting tight. But it comes down to a field when you're all over, all said and done, or whatever. If I could learn to talk tonight. Dalton's pulled away 1 second over Mojica. As Doy Wood's falling back a little bit there as he hits that bump in 1 and 2. Jimmy Coleman to his inside. Doy's car actually handled that bump pretty well on the top side. Stefan Marinick there behind him. Chad Coleman there also. And let's look back here at the 81. Mr. coming through the field, Josh Parker. He shows the talent he has and how good of a driver he can be, the way he just kind of comes up through the field and was able to maneuver himself around all these tracks. I mean, I guess when you're in a series like this that has some fantastic racing like this every single night, you're going to have the chance to make these kind of moves. I know for me, normally wherever I raced at and stuff, if I started in the back, I'd be nervous for my life for a little bit. Well, and even when I started in the front, I'd be nervous for my life a little bit. There's a gaggle. Tommy Ryan top side on Simley. Oh, Parker got the wall. That ain't going to help him. Already seeing lap times about a second off. Back here, John Higman Jr. to 60 car. Ron Holyfield there at Haviland number 11. The 71, that's Casey Duncan. The 3, Jeff Ryan, all here for the 20th position. Adding there the 6 of Mike Montesi. There's battles everywhere. Look at Marinick up here for 5th. The D&D car, which, by the way, the movie's in theaters. Dungeons and Dragons. I took my 4-year-old today to go see... Ready for this one? Land Before Time. They're doing their cinema flashbacks at the movie theater here, and I always like to... If I find a good one, my wife and I will take her to see one of them. And here's the mind-blowing part of the whole thing. It's the first time I've ever seen Land Before Time. Yep, that's a fact. Man, Parker, a little out of control there, off 2 there. Car got a little dancy, almost skinned up the wall. Up front, Mojica's chopped that lead down to 9/10 of a second. As we all know, Pedro can be one of the better cars on a long run. My wife warned me, like, when the movie starts, she goes, by the way, there's going to be a scene where you start crying. And then I realized what happens there towards the beginning of the movie. I won't spoil it for those who hadn't seen it. But I looked over at her at that point. And yeah, there was a part of me that felt terrible and felt sad, but I looked over at her and I'm like, expect me to cry? And then, of course, she's wiping her eyes off. I'm like, oh, good grief. Somebody was cutting onions in the movie. 3 wide off 4 contact. Eric Arnold's in the wall. That was a daring move from Tommy Ryan, but he's split ski. Tommy Ryan up from the 29 plus 13. What is that, 23rd to 9th? '22nd. There we go. So the front 8 have kind of driven away, and then you get this pack of cars right here. Charles Van Schaik, 31 of Arnold, as I mentioned. Gillen Waters come up through the field. He's up 8 positions. Then you got the Parker Hunt Brothers pizza car. As we're at 110 laps to go now. "31 laps in the books. Best battle on the track right here between these cars. And this is what Iowa does. When you get that bottom groove, I believe it's 12 to 15 in the banking. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. Usually I have that number, but I don't tonight. But Parker and Arnold up there, top side. Parker moves it down to the middle groove. That's actually more the preferred groove around here. It's right there between those 2 white lines. I've always liked to be up in the top side there when a car in 3 and 4 when you're up there battling, because for some reason you just get that huge run off the corner. But one thing that's always hurt me when I'm racing is it gets very tight around this track. Like, I've always been good. Like, I've actually gotten the most poles in a league at this track. Like, anytime I league race here, I feel like I got a chance for the pole. But then after that, oh, look at that. The car just falls off the map after about 20 laps. Oh, Parker got the wall again. Right on board with the 4 car. Roll off the throttle, roll back into it. Transitions can be a little tricky here, especially on newer tires. Dalton's doing a great job up there in the front, still 0.8 of a second over Mojica. And again, that strategy is going to come into play here. I think you could see some drivers, once we get to lap 50, come to the pit road and split this race into a 2-stopper. And then you're going to get those few that could probably make this a 1-stopper and go to lap 70. But 37 laps in the books right now. A reminder, next week we are off for the Grand National Series next Sunday. That was why we were off this past Monday. It'll put everybody back on schedule. Of course, tomorrow night, the Cup Series will be back on track, but next Sunday we're off, and then we go to Bristol. Not the dirt. We'll do the regular track, and then, of course, Texas, Talladega, Dover. the next 5 weeks here on the Captain Esports Network. There's Tyler Dalton doing a great job right now as he comes up on the back of Brian Wortman to put him a lap down. There you see Mojica back there. Wortman just lets him go on by. In a very Brian Wortman way. As we watch Troy Radford battle for the Steve Ritter with issues and Bobby Wetzel with issues over in turn 2. Back straightaway here for Ritter. That thing's up in smoke. He's jumped to the pits. And Wetzel's off the pace over here on the apron. He kept it down to no caution. Those two not having good nights here so far. Let's see what happened in the 16 here. He's underneath the Jimmy North number 24 car. Jimmy making a return to the series here tonight. Oh, and that's going to leave a mark. Oh, and that's really going to leave a mark. Wall just grabs him. Unfortunately, Jimmy looks like just kind of lost the back end coming off the corner. And Ritter with no place to go. I did not see what happened to Wetzel, so I know he was right behind it here. Let's see with the 9 car. That was very odd on that part. Kind of very odd all the way around, but when I tell you that Jimmy hasn't run in the series, I'm not sure about iRacing for a while, but at least in the series for a while, kind of explains maybe that a little bit. Maybe just getting loose or tire spin or whatever off the corner. Could be anything, but unfortunate deal there for Jimmy. And also, well, worse shape for Steve Ritter, unfortunately. Marinick making the pass on Doy Woods for 5th. Heard one guy say earlier it was going to be very tough to pass in the long run. Is Jimmy North now having issues on the back straightaway? He's trying to keep his car off the track here from bringing the caution out. Great job on his part. I mean, he just destroyed both ends of the car, but we stay green. On board with Chad Coleman. If you're joining us tonight, maybe you're looking for somewhere to race, Sim500 could be the place for you, by the way. You can check out their website, sim500.com. I did hear in the announcements pre-race, the GOAT series, which also is a part of Sim500. They race together with each other on Saturday nights looking for some drivers for their Cup series. So if you're interested, check out sim500.com for the 411 of the 811 Cup series. That is on Monday nights, and of course the GOAT Cup series over on Saturday nights. As Chad Coleman looks underneath Justin Fuller, this is the 3rd position as we come across lap 50 here. So this is going to be the point where we get some pit stops potentially. And real quickly, let's hear a word from our sponsor of 811 right before we get pit stops here.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on nc811.org or the NC811 app.
50 laps in the books as the battle continues between Coleman and Justin Fuller for the position. Let's jump down to it. You see Marinik starting to get into the battle himself. Here comes Tommy Ryan. But definitely want to say thoughts and prayers to those in the Midwest. I know Indiana up there. I know there was a couple warnings while I was watching the Storm Chasers on Friday night. I know there was a couple warnings for some areas I lived in, actually, up in Indiana. So thoughts and prayers to everybody up in that state. Of course, Mississippi from last week. Arkansas had that tornado there near Little Rock. I mean, everybody in the Midwest right now is struggling with these super storms that are coming through. I think I saw a stat yesterday, or was it this morning on Twitter, that said we've had 20 PDS tornado warnings. Now, for those who don't know what that is, if you just know what like a regular tornado warning or anything like that is, a PDS tornado warning is pretty much saying, hey, there's one on the ground. You need to go get somewhere. It's called a pretty dangerous situation. And those kind of storms there obviously would tear up equipment and power lines and things like that. And always remember, if you have an issue like that, call before you dig. Don't go around power lines. Don't do anything like that in that kind of weather. As Marinik goes by Fuller. Tommy Ryan looks like trying to get around him now. But always call before you dig. Just dial 811 for any questions there. Appreciate North Carolina's 811 for sponsoring the series, but if you're in the United States, you can dial your state's 811 and talk to somebody. So we're at lap 55 here. Nobody's come to pit road at lap 50 like I thought maybe could happen as Fuller scrubs off the wall again. And as soon as I say that, Eric Arnold, he comes the first member to pit road here. So this is going to start what is likely to be a very long cycle of pit stops here, because you're going to have probably the next 15 laps or so cars pitting. Especially when Arnold gets out there and feels like he's Superman on these tires. Right side's going on. What he needs, obviously, is this race to stay green. 15.5, slower stop for Arnold. One car kind of falling back a little bit here. Doy Woods, last 5 or 6 laps, he has fallen from about the 7th or 8th position back to 10th. And now it's fallen into the hands of Charles Van Schaik here. As we start to see the sun make an appearance, let's do a weather update real quickly here. Track temp only at 116 degrees. That's probably because of the clouds. Probably allowing these cars to have a lot more grip in them. Then the Tyler Dalton show up there at the front. Mojica right there in second. A little bit of a gap back to Chad Coleman, who's 2.8 back. Man, Charles, right on around to 28. Josh Parker's on pit road now, so here's, like I said, the start of the cycle. There's that 19. Tyler having a great run here tonight. Is this the night he finally breaks through? Parker's pit stop 14.5 as the Hunt Brothers Pizza car pulls away. Good stop. As Jeff Ryan comes to pit road here. And Parker's literally taking the shortest way around this pit road, which is kind of it's a sneaky trick, but one that I can honestly say I've done plenty of times myself. You get to a track like Richmond or whatever, most leagues or whatever have a rule where you can't be going through people's pit stalls. So what you do is you go right outside that yellow line and you just track it right around the curve of pit road. Gain a little bit of time doing that. A little bit. Fuller on pit road. Joey Jatina's on pit road now. This is lap 62. Now, I'm pretty sure, or it's going to be close, I should say, right here from this point. They can go all the way on fuel. I just don't know if the tires are going to want to go 88 laps. Or, I'm sorry, 78 laps. There's the boss man leaving his stall after the stop. One of the faster cars on the track here these last few laps has been this one car of Stefan Marinick. As he's going to have to hold on a second here. Jeff Ryan coming by with 4 new balonies on that car. I say that, it looks like Marinick's kind of held steady there with Tommy now. So Tyler, Pedro Mojica, Chad Coleman, Tommy Ryan, Stefan Marinick, your top 5. Looks like most of these other cars are just going to do the one stopper, go to lap 70 at least, and then come to pit road. Jeff Ryan, the first car. I think that's past Tyler all night. Back here, the gaggle continues. Bob Gillenwater, Scott Simley, there's Joy Woods there in the 28. Eric Arnold's got fresh tires. Callan Tony's right there. Oh, hold on, Anthony. Glove saving a beauty. Back here, E.J. O'Rourke, Casey Duncan, 16th position here. Oh! That angle was tough to see if there was a pinch there or what the deal was. Stefan Marinick coming to pit road, though, from the 5th position. Right at that halfway point, as I mentioned. It's the easiest math you can do. Split 140 in half. They're 70. Joy Wood's going to come to pit road. Pole sitter here looking to keep that streak alive of 3 straight pole sitters winning at the Iowa Speedway. Unfortunately, the struggle bus has been out on that 28 all night. And look at this. Chad Coleman has caught Mojica. As a matter of fact, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and Fuller's on fresher tires. These guys have all hawked down Mojica. Casey Duncan's come to pit road. Branch on pit road. Kevin Stone. Who's going to be the first to blink up here in the front? Obviously, Marinick pitted a few minutes ago, but it's going to be an interesting call now. He'll probably be the leader of this race with the way these guys are hanging out here right now. Looks like they might just run the rest of their tires and fuel out. Coleman underneath his teammate here. Branch has got fresh tires down there in the bottom. Looks like Callan Tony's going to come to pit road. Bob Gillenwater now in at lap 76. Well, I said for 15 laps would be under a pit window, but it's turned into more of 25 laps. As Coleman makes the move, going to slide up in front of Mojica. I saw smoke from somebody. I noticed Dalton has fallen back a little bit here. All of a sudden down to 1.2, so I'm not sure. Did that smoke call from Dalton, maybe? I'm not sure. That's sort of weird. Hey, appreciate the viewers watching tonight, by the way. If you're new to chat, you can hit the subscribe button, please. If you know some people who would like to watch this, send them a link so they can come subscribe. Have notifications turned on as we continue to work our way towards 1,000 subscribers. So we got a little work to do. I appreciate everybody who's watched. If you're not new to the channel, of course, you can always come back like you have tonight. So appreciate that. As all of a sudden, Tyler Dalton is falling off the map here. I mean, Chad Coleman, these guys are just reeling him in like a fish. I mean, we're running lap times right now in the 26-second bracket. I mean, I understand the theory they're doing here. They're trying to run this one long so that they can go harder on the tires here for the last run of the race, but here comes Coleman for the lead. I mean, they're almost parking the bus here mid-corner. And here comes Coleman's going to come to pit road here. Coleman and Tommy Ryan come to pit road at lap 82. That's got to bring Dalton in this time. All right, Tyler Dalton is on pit road, so we'll cover these stops, and you see the white car back there, that's Dalton. Van Schaik on pit road, Glenn Campbell, Montesi on pit road. Coleman 14.9, good stop there. Let's watch Dalton. When this all cycles around, it should be Stefan Marinick in the lead. Actually, it might be Justin Fuller, as I see this correctly. More tires and fuel. Dalton leads with a 14.6. Good stop. And you see Coleman to his right there. 1 lap separation of tires right there. As Coleman goes by, Tommy Ryan goes by. So Dalton's got to play some strategy here, saving some tires. He tries to catch those guys. Maybe hopefully he hopes they burn them up. But Charles Van Schaik leading this race. Thomas Lewandowski now second. Joe Hudson third. And the top 3 have not pitted. As a matter of fact, Fuller just passed Hudson as they're 3 wide back here. Hudson did pit at the first caution at lap 6, so he can go a little bit longer here, probably on fuel, as Radford's having some blinking issues. Let me get that man a tinfoil hat. This order is definitely going to get shaken up a little bit here once everybody gets to pit road. We'll try to get you everybody where they are. But Tyler Dalton is looking at somewhere around 10th when this is all over with here in this race. All right, so Van Schaik to pit road. That leaves Joe Hudson as the only car. He and Bobby Wetzel, the only 2 really left to pit. You see Thomas Lewandowski leaving the pits right now. So now that we cycle everything around and pretty much put everybody in a Yahtzee can here, Justin Fuller leads this race, and he leads Joe Hudson by 2 seconds. Of course, Hudson's going to come to pit road here in a minute. And when that happens, it's going to put Stefan Marinick in second, who's about 4.5 seconds behind Justin Fuller. Stefan pitted 9 laps after Fuller, so he's got some fresher tires, and he'll probably catch Justin here real quickly. As there's Marinick right there. Josh Parker, who pitted in lap 58, is now 4th. And there is Josh in the 81 car. Eric Arnold, who pitted at lap number 54. He is in 5th right now. Those are the short pitters, if you will, outside of Marinick. And even you can say Marinick short pitted a little bit. So then after that, we start getting into the guys who pitted at lap 80. Pedro Mojica pitted there at lap 80. He's running in 6th right now. And then it bounces back to Joey Jatina. He pitted at lap number 60. He runs 7th. Scrapes up the wall as we say hello to him. Chad Coleman. There's the first of the lap 82 bunch. Runs now in the 8th position. Tommy Ryan runs 9th. And right behind him, 10th position, Tyler Dalton. The man who has led pretty much every lap up until the pit stop sequence is now 10th. Doy Woods, he is in 11th right now, pitted at lap number 70. John Hickman Jr., this man here, how about this? Lap 42, he came to pit road. He's 12th. And then Troy Radford pitted at lap number 82. He is in the 13th position. So, to put this into layman's terms, this is where I bring you the pit board of the top 10. As Marinick just cleared Hudson for second. I definitely am feeling really good right now if I'm Mojica, if I'm Coleman, if I'm Ryan, if I'm Dalton. If I'm these other guys, I'm looking for somebody to go spinning somewhere. Because then they're going to steal track position. All right, pit stop cycle is complete. Let's step away for a quick second. We'll come back and get you the last 40 laps of the Sim500 NC811.org Grand National Series here on the Captain Esports Network.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on nc811.org or the NC811 app.
All right, back we are here at Iowa Speedway, virtually on iRacing. Just wrapped up a cycle of pit stops as Eric Arnold has come back to pit road here. This is the scheduled pit stop, I believe, for him because he is splitting into a two-stopper. Joe Hudson now coming to pit road here at lap 98, so now we really have completed the cycle of pit stops, but Justin Fuller leads Stefan Marinick by 2.9 seconds now. Pedro Mojica up to third, Josh Parker, Chad Coleman, your top five. As Coleman goes underneath Parker right now for fourth, going to bring Tommy Ryan with him. Ryan, a little bit of nose damage on that 99. Not sure where that came from. Now, if he's got that nose damage, who's got the rear damage? As Josh Parker on pit road. So these guys are pretty much throwing the Hail Mary right now and going off of tires. They think in 40 laps they can maybe gain a whole entire lap, if not two, and win this race with the fresher tires. It's going to be very tough, but we'll see. I've seen crazier things happen. One thing I have seen that's very impressive is Justin Fuller has, for the most part, held off Marinick. Only 2.2 seconds now, and it's 9-lap older tires for that 51 car. Look at Glenn Campbell here, trans service number 44. As he goes inside of Hickman, who gets loose, holds on to her off four. Nice save. He was all yalled out. And Scott Simley now under attack. It's Jimmy Coleman inside him into 54. And Hickman comes to pit road there. I think the right rear scared him a little bit. So tomorrow night, the Cup Series, the 811 Cup Series will be at the Rockingham Speedway, North Carolina Motor Speedway tomorrow night, which is where we were last week for this car. And, of course, with this car being off next week, I'll let you take a guess next Monday where we're at, the Iowa Speedway. And then, of course, we'll catch back up with both series at Bristol in 2 weeks. But tomorrow night, the next-gen cars at Rockingham. That's going to be one I haven't seen yet. So that's going to be a pretty cool combination, I think. So Fuller's lead has dropped to 1.4 now. So things getting very interesting here. Scott Simley and Jimmy Coleman continue to fight back here at the 10th position. And Marinick's got himself a new visitor back here behind him, Pedro Mojica, in that 58. Of course, Mojica with 12 lap fresher tires in Marinick. And he'll move up to the second position here. So this is interesting. Can Mojica be the one that goes to victory lane here? And he's got 2.8 seconds over Chad Coleman, I should say, in fourth, which would be the guy with the next freshest tires out of the bunch in the top 5. One of those, if you're Mojica, do you just try to pace yourself now? Keep the car under you, knowing that you're going to catch Fuller here in the next lap or so for the lead. There's the leader right there. Pedro got a little loose there. Nice job by Justin to give him the room he needed to catch that. And clear of the lead, Pedro Mojica with 29 laps to go. A lot of lap traffic up ahead. But that is the guy right there that I think Mojica's battling for the lead. As Chad Coleman 2.2 seconds back. He and Tommy Reiner right there. Tyler Dalton is 3.7 back. But these guys also pitted 2 to 3 laps after Pedro did. So Coleman finally got around Simley. Here's Joey Jatina to his inside now. Joey, a little bit older tires than Scott. You wonder if Scott's burned his up a little bit. Not able to get around them there. Fuller has now been caught by Marinick. Here's the battle for second. Into the wall. Jason Branch got hit hard there. And somebody's blown up, I think. Now, I'm not sure if Jeff Ryan and Jason made contact there. But that was a lick from Branch. As Radford trying to pass Dory Woods for 7th here. There's 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, right under a blanket. Well, almost under a blanket. It's got to be a big one. King size. Coleman is going to clear Fuller. So only one position between between Mojica and Coleman, still 2.2 seconds, so the gap hasn't grown. So I'm very curious to see. Chad's already knocked off 2/10 right there. If you're just joining us, you're watching the Sim500 811.org Grand National Series from Iowa Speedway, virtually on iRacing. Only one caution so far. And we've been green for over 100 laps now, I want to say. gotten the one pit stop out of the way, and now it's coming down to who's got the best tires where. Chad Coleman's knocked off about a half second here in the last 3 or 4 laps. As here's Van Schaik and O'Rourke. EJ's worked himself up to the 13th position here almost. Good comeback for him after being involved in that first wreck. And it sounds like something between Holyfield and Casey Duncan, maybe. Duncan, some damage going to come to pit road, it sounds like. Yes, some right side damage here on the 71. Not sure what happened. I heard heard Ron come over the microphone and say, hey, my bad. Here's Fuller. Now under attack. He's rubbing up that wall a ton. He's going to have a unit sponsorship on the side here in a second. Oh, trouble O'Rourke and Wetzel. Wetzel's down in the inside. Where's O'Rourke? This is the same 2 people from the first caution. If we stay green, everybody's off the track. Or everybody's on track or off. One of the two. Here. EJ transitioned off, gets into Van Schaik, and then knocks Wetzel down into the grass along with him. You know what it is? That's that transition we talked about earlier. Got them all sideways there, going over the transition back to the front straightaway right. Well, that was a little early in the transition, but still, car got loose. I will say he was splitting the 2 bankings, so that probably de-wedged the car, if anything. Up here for second. Here comes Coleman. I sense a hashtag coming out on Twitter here in a little bit. Everybody's trying to get that angle into the corner, and they're just sideswiping the wall. Such an easy thing to do, though, in fairness. Coleman needs to get around Marinick as quick as possible if he's going to have a shot to get to Pedro. They've already lost about 2/10. Chad's a dirt guy here. I could see a slider here any minute. Right here, probably. Sends it in there pretty deep. See if he slides up the track. Calantoni's out of the way. He didn't even need to. He cleared him right there through the corner. That's 2 team name cars now top 2. Very impressed with Tommy Ryan's run down there in 4th as he's trying to get 3rd now for Marinick. Outran him over. But Tommy started back in the 23rd position. Make that 22nd. Ryan not able to get around Marinick as they go around the lap car of Calantoni. Saw Lewandowski back there getting the wall. Tyler Dalton is falling to 3.7 seconds, so I'm sure he's going to be not too happy after this race. Battle of Trans-Service Automobiles. How about Montesi? Mike was running back near like 25th, I think, earlier in this race. And he's up to the 11th position now. Great job on his part. Got Joey Jatina, 13th position there behind him. For those wondering how the two-stop strategy is going, Eric Arnold, 23rd position right now. Josh Parker is 18th. And they're about 20 seconds or so from the lead. So, unfortunately, I would have to call that a net loss probably in the end. But hey, how you going to know if you don't try it? Eight laps to go for Mojica, now 7 to go. Coleman, 1.9 back, has gained a little bit, but not too much. And again, next week, we're off for Easter. And we'll return in 2 weeks from the Bristol Motor Speedway. Yeah, if Mojica can win this, will be his 4th win in 8 races, be batting 50% so far. As Jimmy Coleman, Doy Woods for position here. And then Tommy Ryan and Marinick leaning on each other here. You got multiple battles going on. I feel bad for the painter of this track. I'm just saying. Thankfully, it doesn't leave marks on the wall because it looked like we'd be graffitiing it. Tommy might get to the outside here with Casey Duncan going around. He does. This is going to, I think, clear Tommy. He's got the preferred groove here on the older tires. Marinick not letting him go as they paint the wall again. As Mojica comes off turn 4, he sees the white flag as the battle for 3rd goes to Tommy Ryan right now. Final lap for Pedro. Going to go into the Easter weekend, batting 50% on the season. As he comes off of turn number 4, Pedro Mojica will be a 4-time winner on the season. And a victory at the Iowa Speedway for him. As Coleman will finish 2nd. Tommy Ryan holds off Marinick. And Tyler Dalton going to be disappointed, I think, with that top 5. Led to most laps here this evening. But Pedro using that pit strategy to take advantage. Good burnouts there from Pedro. as finishing order will go across the top of the screen. Give us a chance to talk to some drivers. Everybody takes a deep breath. One of the biggest movers in the race. It might have to do with what team he's in here. He's not one of the members of that team as far as I know. But it might have something to do with his good run tonight here. I think I'm starting to tie 2 and 2 together here, Tommy Ryan. Third place run for you. And you're sitting in the team name channel there. So was there a little good luck there maybe?
I surely hope so. I enjoy hanging out with Chad and Pedro and Doy and those guys. We had some pretty good laughs together, and we've a couple other nights we've kind of just kind of hung out. But yeah, finally got a podium here. But you know, I just put my head down, man. It was a great race. The thing was somewhat of a handful out of some of the corners, but man, it's good racing. It's fun here.
So let's say it had to be tough for you starting 22nd. You definitely had to kind of be patient and let the car come to you because you could easily burn those tires off. Talk about working your way through the field.
Yeah, when we took off there, I was right there with Josh Parker, and I was like, well, I'm just going to kind of just try to pace with him and see what happens. And I really felt like I was burning the right front off because I was, you know, bombing turn 1 pretty hard. But it just kind of helped, you know, kind of hung on there for the entire run, and I got at least 1 or 2 tire warnings, and I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna make it halfway if I blow a tire. But I just kept giving it hell, man, out of the corners. This thing was, I love the top in 3 and 4. A lot of people riding the bottom, but I could just get right on that seam and kind of diamond a little bit and get right back to the throttle and never lift, and it was just screaming down the front, man. It was so fun to drive up there.
Well, I agree 100%. That groove, that's one of my favorites when it comes to this track, because I'm one that actually struggles on the long run here, and that top side, though, for some reason, I love running it at this track. But, man, great job tonight. Talk about the battles with you, Chad. I mean, you guys were right on top of each other most of the night. Even Tyler was kind of right there with you in the middle part of the race. But I know you and Chad specifically were pretty much stuck to each other.
Yeah, and it's funny because we kind of get close to each other at a lot of these tracks near the end. And we were in the same channel together, and I was content just running right there, and I was like, well, I'm going to pit when those guys do. And then once I got clear of some lap traffic that had tires got around me, I had a fresh view of pit road and nobody behind me there, so I could get in as quick as I wanted to. So, and then Chad pitted when I did because he went down the corner, and Tyler was really slow. He was like, well, I might as well pit also. But of course, Pedro, man, he got a couple laps before us and got out there, and was fighting lap traffic and tires coming, and it was just a mess, man.
Yeah.
But hell, I'm happy with the podium. It was a great run.
Yeah, great job tonight, man. Give some shout outs.
Yep. Obviously Virginia811.com, northerntool.com. So you guys, man, it's spring, man. We need some sales, and a lot of companies are struggling right now, but yeah, we need sales pretty bad. So please order from us.
There you go, Northern Tool. Check them out. And Tommy Ryan, appreciate your time, my man, and hopefully we'll see you more on the podium.
Yeah, great talking to you again, man. It's been a while.
You too, brother. Be safe. Tommy Ryan finishing in the 3rd position here this evening. Great run for him. And we'll let him go down to the team name channel. And we'll talk to our 2nd place finisher, and I'll let you guess what channel he's in. That is Chad Coleman, finishes P2 here this evening. Chad, obviously a little bit short there. I know it was a tough battle, but you and Tommy definitely showed, I think, some pretty good long-run pace. I mean, was the pit strategy obviously the difference there with Pedro pitting those couple laps earlier?
No, it was really the traffic that got in between us that is what caused the end of the race. I had to, and Tommy did too. Tommy actually got damaged from one of the lap cars right there. If it wouldn't have been for Tommy getting the nose damage right there, as quick as he was right there on the long run, he probably had a better chance to win it than I did. But we were both gaining on Pedro pretty good, and then we had some guys that were on a different strategy get in between us and passing us. Whenever you let somebody go, no matter if they got new tires or not, they seem to be careful around you, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a
Right.
good thing that they don't just bomb it in there and, you know, clean you out trying to overdrive, but it's a bad thing because it costs you more time. And so at one point we was about a second and a half behind him, and still about a tenth to the good on lap time, and then I caught Marinak and Fuller, and I was able to get by Fuller when he started sliding, and then me and Marinak raced pretty hard for about 5 or 6 laps, and Pedro opened the lead back up to 2 seconds, and then still had some traffic in between us, and that was pretty much it.
Is there like any kind of a thing when it comes to this traffic out here? Because I know obviously there's the usual rules of hold your lane, stuff like that, yada yada yada. But you know, when you're in a series like this, is there anything, especially maybe tonight, you're like, okay, maybe they should do this or shouldn't have done that, or is this just one of those? You know what? It was just a product of this racing.
It was really a product of just a good race, honestly. Like, we lapped up to I think like 12th or 13th.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was just long runs. And we had really long runs, so I mean, we put, you know, well over half the field, or, you know, probably 3/4 of the field a lap down. And so you were racing with guys that, you know, have decent speed.
Right.
So when you catch them, they're not easy to pass, but when you catch a lap car, only thing you want them to do is hold their line and, you know, not like, you don't want them doing anything drastic. Like, you don't want them like, be predictable, and don't like, just the thing I hate when you're passing a lap traffic is one of them hanging on your right rear. Just don't do that. We didn't catch you you're not a lap down because, you know, we caught you for a reason.
Right. Well, obviously you showed the speed there. The one pass with you and Marinak there at the end, I'm over here, you'll hear it on the stream tonight. I'm like, all right, he's going to pull a slider here in a minute because he's a dirt guy. And it was like you cleared him. Like, oh, never mind, you didn't have to slide anyways.
Yeah, man, me and Marinak had a good race right there. Had a good little battle. Probably some of the most fun I had in this race is once I caught Pedro. I was catching Pedro about a tenth and a half a lap, and I got to him, and then that tenth and a half went away. Like, when I got to him, I could tell he started running harder. And as he started running harder, me and him both started catching Tyler. So now it's just it's an all-out race, and it was fun. I love racing with people with, you know, like Pedro, Tommy, and those guys. You can race hard with those guys, and you ain't got to worry about getting wrecked most of the time.
Well, great job, man. Send some shout-outs.
Yeah, just thanks to everybody at Sim500. Give really a shout-out to everybody who raced tonight. That was a clean race. That was a lot of fun. You know, it's just that's not really rare. I mean, we've done it a couple of times now, but Iowa produces great races, and shout out to them, Joey, NC811, to you guys, and for the broadcast, and shout out to Terry Hudson. You know, he painted this thing, like I said, about 3 years ago now.
Well, great job, and congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right, buddy. Chad Coleman, the second place finisher tonight. I see there's a party already down in Team Name getting started. There's only really one wreck to look at, but there's still going on down there. And let's get our winner, Pedro Mojica. And here's where I'm going to kind of shock Pedro. I've kind of kept this quiet until he got in here. As Pedro, you become the 6th different winner in 6 races at Iowa in this series.
Oh, well, that's actually pretty interesting to think. This track seems like there's so many guys that are always good at this track. You would think that there would have been a couple of repeat winners, but no, that's actually pretty impressive. That's a long streak for here at Sim500.
Yeah, it is, and these are the names on that list: Justin Fuller, Byron Daly, Brian Macklin, Trey Eidson, Daniel Falkingham, and now you. Oh,
that's a pretty elite list. I'd say that's the who's who of Sim500 through the history. So I'm glad to join that list, man. That's elite company for sure. I enjoy racing those guys, so I'm glad to be a part of that list.
Well, the obvious question I got to ask is the pit stop at lap 80 there. Talk about just your mindset there and deciding to come at that point in the race, because that was pretty much the separation when it was over with.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. Like I wanted to try to pit at least a lap before Tyler. Because the thing that I've kind of noticed with this car, it seems like if you can hold on to a lead, the tires all equal out, and then you're able to hang on. So that's kind of what I was shooting for. Lap 80, just I don't know. That lap just happened to be it, just because the way the lap traffic was hitting us.
Mhm.
A lot of guys were pitting early, and I I was starting to get worried that if we went too long, that I'd stuck in lap traffic with people passing me. So there was a moment there where there was a gap for a lap, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to pit at this moment. And I mean, I think it made a huge difference because I think everybody else I was racing with had to stay out another 2 or 3 laps because of traffic. Like
Right.
guys were coming on tires and just wasn't safe to pit. So I was able to get a little bit of a gap there. And then when I got out, I just focused on just being nice, smooth, and easy on the throttle, nice and easy on the brake, just letting it get in the corner nice and easy, not, pushing the car too much. And yeah, I mean, that helped. That helped save tires a little bit, and just honestly, it was just track position. I felt like recently, or the season, just I've been on the bad side of lap traffic, and people come out of the pits right in front of me or around me on fresher tires, and battling me and losing time to whoever. In this race, I actually was on the beneficial side of all that. I know there was part of the run there. I think Chad got to about a second and a half behind me with 1 or 2 lap better tires, and then there was a couple guys that came out between me and him and behind him, and then had fresher tires, so we're battling him, and that held him up, and I was able to gain back some of that time, and which helped me a lot there at the end. So yeah, I mean, just kind of went on a whim, man. Honestly, lap 80 wasn't really what I was thinking in my head. It just
Went for it.
there, just kind of at that moment, I was like, I think this is my chance because this is in between lap, guys on fresher tires getting around us.
No, I totally understand that because I go back in my head and I remember what I saw at that point. I mean, you guys were pretty much parking the bus, it felt like, in the corners because you guys were running like 26 flats, if not 26 ones and twos, which is almost 2 seconds off the pace at that point. So you guys are, I mean, it was almost a matter, like you said, of just flip a coin, pit at that moment. And it definitely worked out for you, man. Well, congratulations. You're going into Easter break, batting 50% on the season, 4 of 8, which isn't too shabby. And obviously going to be the point leader. Extend that out just a little bit. That's going to feel pretty good. So throw some shout outs out there.
I appreciate it, Chris. Yeah, no, I appreciate you and Captain Esports for putting on the broadcast. Glenn Campbell and Transfers for being on board. I'm glad they jumped on board this year for Xfinity or for the Grand National, NC811 Grand National and Cup Series. So glad to be representing him real well and his brand. And then yeah, NC811 for being on board and sponsoring this series and Cup. Appreciate everything they do. All the admins appreciate everything they do. Everybody on Team Name. Everybody had a good run, did a great job, and we had a good race tonight. And then yeah, just appreciate the family for letting me come down and have a little fun.
Well, great job tonight, man, and congratulations on the win tonight. Go enjoy Easter, and next we'll see you tomorrow night at Rockingham.
All right, I appreciate it.
All right, you too, buddy. As Pedro Mojica joins us after his win here tonight at the Iowa Speedway. Congratulations to him. Great race from everybody. Only the one caution there early in the race, and otherwise went clean and green to the finish. I overheard somebody actually say in chat that this is actually statistically the cleanest track Sim500 races at. So that's actually a pretty cool stat to know. I'm not sure if there was sarcasm in that, but it seemed pretty legit to me when I heard it. So awesome race from everybody here this evening. We're going to head out, and of course tomorrow night we'll be back at 8:15 Eastern time from Rockingham Speedway or North Carolina Motor Speedway, whatever you like to call it. We'll be back over there for the NC811.org Cup Series as they're back in action after their week off from the Rock. Next Gen Cars at Rockingham. That's one I haven't seen yet. That's going to be a pretty fun combo to check out tomorrow evening. Wonder if there will be some shifting in turn 1. Just thought about that a little bit. Anyways, let's go enjoy the rest of our Sunday night. This isn't just a game, it's iRacing. See ya!
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless. A sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 yeah,
This is a statement to appreciate all that is vacant. It's just for the taking. If you make up your mind, you can take it. I'm never complacent. I would work in a mansion or basement, yeah. There's no replacement for persistence, it's a patience, yeah. In this life, I wanna be soaring, to feel sun inside when it's pouring. And I'll fight till anxiety is foreign. I'm so sick of my mind's extortion.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, yeah.